Hi, I'm Manny Fitzsimmons. I'm your Washington Realtors Legal Hotline lawyer. In this episode, I want to talk about Form 36, the Counter Offer Addendum. If you don't have a Form 36 in front of you, would you please pause and grab one? Because it will really help in your understanding of what we're going to talk about in this video if you have a Form 36 in front of you. And I want to draw your attention immediately to lines 3 and 4 of the Form 36. This is in the preamble to the form. We're not going to talk about the substance of how you complete a Form 36. This entire episode is going to be focused on completion of lines 3 and 4. You will use a Form 36 if you're the listing broker drafting a counteroffer for the seller, and you will also use a Form 36 if you are the buyer broker drafting a counteroffer for the buyer. And whoever it is that you represent in the transaction, your client's name goes on line 4, identified as the undersigned in the boilerplate language of the form. And the reason this is important is because the undersigned refers to who is signing the counteroffer. So if you are representing the seller, let's start there, because most often it's going to be, at least in the first negotiation, it's going to be the seller who uses the Form 36. If you're representing the seller, then on line 3, you're going to put the buyer's name and you're going to identify them as the buyer. And you're going to put the seller's name on line 4, and they will now become identified by the boilerplate language as the undersigned, and you will further identify them as the seller. You'll write their offer. Seller will sign as the undersigned. But let's say you're the buyer broker. If you are the buyer broker writing the buyer's counteroffer on Form 36, then you will identify on line 3 the seller's name as seller. And on line 4, you will write your client's name, the buyer's name, and identify them as buyer. And then buyer will sign as the undersigned. And with that, it will be buyer's counteroffer to seller. If you get it flipped around, buyer broker, because you're not paying attention, and if you write buyer's name on line 3 and seller's name on line 4, then you're naming the seller as the undersigned, even though it's buyer who signs the counteroffer. And you have created enormous confusion because you filled out the form, the preamble to the form, improperly. It's a really simple rule to remember. Whoever your client is, when you're the drafter of Form 36, whoever your client is, their name goes on line 4, and you identify them as the role that they're playing in the transaction, buyer or seller, because the form can be used for both. If you have questions on this topic or any other, please ask me a question by visiting warealtor.org and following the links to the legal hotline. Thank you for being a Washington Realtors member.